Things in China are far worse than you're being told. It's time to debunk some Chinese propaganda. And I'm not going to be alone today. In fact, my co-host, Lau86, is joining me for our show today.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to be looking at the state of China. Now, both of us daily see Chinese propaganda coming out. What do you see? You see shiny buildings. You see green technology. You see drones. You see humanoid robots. And
you see how safe it is.
Oh yes. High trust society, all this nonsense. And it gets a bit much after a while, especially when you know the reality of China. So I thought we'd just take a look at some of what's actually happening in China at the moment. I've got a couple of clips for us to go through here. And let's start with the kneeling. Why do you think these people are kneeling on the road?
I'm going to hazard a guess, that has something to do with money.
It does. These guys are owed wages. And I mean, this is a common sight around China at the moment. It's very common. I'd say within the last couple of months, we've seen countless stories of people not being paid. And I mean, up to a year's worth of wages in arrears. And what makes this really dire for these people is most of you out there probably think, oh, if I haven't been paid my wage in 6 months to a year, I'll just take them to court, or I'll just walk out, you know, or I'll threaten, if they don't pay me, I'm going to quit. And then they're going to have to pay me. That's not how it works in China. First of all, there are no courts to go to in China. There are no labor laws that are going to save you.
There's no rule of law.
Yeah. On top of that, I mean, there's a lot of illegal hiring practices anyway. On top of that, if you were to quit your job and say, hey guys, pay me or I'm leaving, you know what they're going to do?
What?
They're going to celebrate and they're going to replace you with someone else because there's such a large population in China that you've got people chomping at the bit to get your job because there's such a high unemployment rate. So you're in kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, we're in a situation right now. We're talking to people in Chongqing, so a very developed city.
Yeah.
A lot of college graduates, and these are people, a lot of them with master's degrees, so graduate degrees. The average person doesn't have a graduate degree, right?
Yeah.
These people are struggling to make $200 to $300 a month if they're lucky enough to get a job. Yeah. Right? That's not a situation a developed country is in.
Now, it's not just like your low-end workers, like your construction workers and stuff. It's hitting everybody from every walk of life. In fact, there's this clip that came out recently of this guy kind of losing it on the subway. I wanted to show you because it really highlights what's going on.
我被开除了，我只干了1天。你们猜我的职业是什么？我的职业是保安。我在玉玺那边的一家保安公司里面做了1天啊。那个总管给我开的加薪180，但是他没有给我签订任何劳务合同或者劳动合同。那么这说明了一个什么问题？这说明他们必须得按这个飞翔杭州的最低工资标准，非全日制24块钱。
I mean, it's tragic. You can see this is a young guy, is in the prime of his life. This is when you're supposed to be earning, you know. This is where you improve yourself. This is where you really sort of build up your wealth and your career. And he's stuck in a situation where he didn't have a choice but to accept this horrible, lowball offer because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah. And
they're not honoring it, and he's lost it. And I mean, you can see how desperate things are. For somebody like this, you know, to have to go through this. So it's hitting every segment of the population at the moment. You know, youth unemployment's off the rails. But, you know, we got a lot more to talk about. We got a lot more things to show you. But before that, let's lighten the mood with the data broker rap. Deep within the corporate offices of a data broker, something is happening behind closed doors. You work hard for your money. Well, we work so hard too. We steal your information, make money out of you. We sell your phone and address, your health and credit score too. You cannot escape us with Data Broken Bros. When you browse the internet, when you click on accept a cookie, when you sign up for some or other service in a shop, your data gets sold to data brokers, and data brokers then sell it to other people. You'll be absolutely shocked at how many sites share your personal information. Just try Google your name, city, and state and see what pops up. That is not cool. That crazy ex can see that information too. Luckily, Incogni has you covered. With Incogni's custom removals feature in the Unlimited plan and Family Unlimited plan, you can point to any website where you find your personal information, and one of Incogni's privacy agents will take care of the rest for you. There are thousands of data brokers out there, and for you to go after each one and legally request for your name to be removed would be incredibly time-consuming and costly. But Incogni does it for you. If you don't like the idea of your crazy ex looking up your address and targeted ads and junk mail, go to incogni.com/Winston and use the code Winston to get 60% off. Protect your privacy today. Go to incogni.com/Winston and use the code Winston to take your personal data off the market. And now back to the show. Welcome back now. We're talking about the big cities, white-collar workers, and you expect when you see those shiny cities with all the bright LEDs and, you know, like China's living in the future stuff, you would expect people to be living in this utopia. But I mean, take a look at this. This is from Shenzhen. This is where I used to live, first-tier city, and this is how the workers are living in these kind of squalid, cramped, weird sort of setups over here. Not very good. You have people just struggling to survive, like these old people trying to sell their vegetables in the rain. Not very glamorous.
Well, China doesn't have social programs or welfare to help these people.
Yeah.
Unlike the name the Communist Party of China might indicate.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is a common sight. It blows my mind that people are believing the propaganda coming out of China. I mean, this guy has just lost it. He's, you know, trying to set himself on fire in the middle of the traffic there. I mean, it's just awful, the desperation that you see happening in China, you know. People are losing it. And of course you're going to lose it in such a desperate situation, you know. I just hate to see society degrade like this. And when you are living in China, you see the bright lights, you see the cities around you, you see all the things, all the wealth, and you just don't understand how it is that people have this money when you don't. I mean, you see this guy's like stealing a bunch of hot dogs sneakily, but
hot dogs generous.
Yeah, well, he's coming back to get some durian as well, so it's gonna be hot dogs and durian. You know,
buy 4 hot dogs, get 1 durian free today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like petty crime, of course, is off the charts as well. Yeah. But something even more tragic is we've spoken about the delivery drivers in China. We've spoken about how they've kind of become heroes in a way, or at least they're portrayed that way. And the Chinese government has really been encouraging this image of delivery drivers being this really good career path, you know? And that's because they've realized that there aren't that many jobs out there. Most people don't want to, especially middle-class people. Imagine you're a graduate, and like you were saying, you've got like a PhD, or you've come out and you've gotten top marks throughout your school, and there's no jobs available. To have to resort to being a delivery driver is a huge hit to anyone's ego and their expectations. Because, you know, you're studying like advanced engineering or something, or mathematics, and you think, I've got a good career ahead of me, and now you have to deliver someone's like $10 or $3 noodles. That's not what you were expecting, right? So they've been bigging this whole thing up. But of course, that's not working out very well. People are collapsing and having mental breakdowns because, I mean, it's a desperate situation, and I hate to see it. You know? This guy just, you know, collapsed on the side of the road, and he's had it. I mean, look, I feel for this guy, and I feel for all these guys, because just like you, I made many Chinese friends, and it didn't matter what echelon of society they were in. I met a lot of friends, and the best friends I have are from the lower end of society, you know, the lower classes, we might say, the low-income earners, because they're the most genuine people I meet in China. And to see them struggle so badly, and it's of no fault of their own, is just horrible. You know, you got people passing out from exhaustion, because it's a tough job to do, and it's a common thing to see, because they're pushing themselves so hard just to make enough money to survive.
Again, these guys are making $200-300 a month.
Yeah.
You have to put that in perspective. I think a lot of Americans don't understand. It's like, yeah, oh, they have to work hard. No, you have to work hard and earn nothing.
Yes, that's right. You earn nothing, especially if you consider the cost of living in China is very high for Chinese people. You know, you get these expats, they go to China and they're like, wow, it's so cheap here. I can buy a meal for $10 and I can stay in a hotel for like $30. It's amazing, not like back home. But that's because you're bringing your money. If you go there and you earn the money that Chinese people earn, you will see how desperate it is for people.
It's bad.
I mean, they're confiscating people's transport. People have to like run away. It's insane. It's tough to survive there, as is evidenced from some of these clips. And poverty is very widespread, not eradicated like they want you to believe.
Oh, it's getting worse.
Yeah. I mean, these clips that I'm showing you here are all very recent clips. I mean, within the past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's all up-to-date stuff that you're seeing here. But yeah, the idea that you go to China and it has a low cost of living is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You know, this is a 70-year-old grandpa who has to look after these 3 kids. And, you know, it's not exactly a picture of glamour over there, you know. China has a big homeless problem. It's just hidden all the time. You know? And China has a big poverty problem. And I think it really does a massive disservice to the people of China to pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's so unfair. Well, the Chinese government's prerogative is to make people think that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But it's so unfair to the hundreds of millions of Chinese people that live in poverty still.
Yeah.
They just don't exist.
So let me ask you this question. If I were to go onto Twitter, you know, X or any social media, TikTok, doesn't matter, and posted this video about an impoverished child and the grandmother digging through the trash, what do you think they're going to say? What do you think the response is?
Well, Kensington Avenue is full of drug addicts.
Yeah. Oh, or what about America's homeless problem? What about America?
You ever been to L.A.? That's what they'll say.
You know what that is? That is worship of the USA, and that is hatred towards Chinese people. Because the people that say that kind of thing hate Chinese people so much that they don't see their problems as being real.
No, it's like a statistic to them. It's like a game. It's like a football game, you know?
So you point out a problem in China. You say, like, listen, you got a lot of poor people that they really need help. And they'll say, oh, yeah? Well, America has. So what you've done there is you've said that the Chinese people's problems don't matter.
No.
They just aren't even people to be considered. Only consider Americans because only Americans are important.
Well, that's how the shills operate. So the shills are the people that work, Westerners that work on behalf of the Chinese government's propaganda department to further China's state goals, right?
Yeah.
They use this kind of attitude to belittle and negate any sort of issues that China has because to them, poor people, which is probably half of China, are a inconvenience and it hurts their bottom line.
It hurts their image. Anyway, that's really the be-all and the end-all of this video, guys. Is I wanted to point out that contrary to all of the propaganda you're seeing coming out of China right now, China actually is in a very bad way financially, economically, and people are struggling. And the reason I like to put these videos out, the reason why we discuss this is because we want these problems to change. We want them to improve. We want China to be what they pretend they are. We want China to be a utopian country for the people of China, and it simply isn't. So by raising awareness, we hope that this discussion gets out there and things get changed. Because unfortunately, the only way to make China change is to make the Chinese government lose face, because then they will change. Anyway, if you enjoyed this format of us going back and forth, that's what we do every week on The China Show. It is our podcast. It's live. It's lots of fun. We talk about propaganda. We look at the funny stuff. We look at crazy clips. We talk about the serious stuff, international news and all that kind of stuff. And what else do we have?
We also have our secret show on patreon.com/ADVpodcast. That is where we do the stuff that we can't show on YouTube. If you like what you do, if you like what I do, if you like what we do on The China Show, you're going to love that.
Absolutely. So
best way to support us, too.
Yeah, head on over to patreon.com/ADVpodcasts. Sign up if you have the means. We'd love to see you there. And until next time, you know the drill. Unlike Chinese propaganda, stay awesome.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ những video hấp dẫn.